at Westminster for another episode of Saving Time. This week we've got Headwaters Food and Farming Alliance Local Food Club kits again, and we're making butter chicken and a kohlrabi cabbage and carrot slaw. So kohlrabi, I've never heard of it. We grew it in our garden a couple of years ago. It's kind of a freaky thing, right? It's a little weird. And I roasted it. I've done different things with it. I've never tried it in a salad like this. So this is going to be a new turn for me as well. Right off the bat, I'm going to start with getting our salad ready because we want to get it in the fridge so it can chill and get the flavors mixing together. So we'll start with that, then we'll do some rice and our butter chicken from scratch. Again, it's a new one for me. Not new to eat, but new to make from scratch. Okay, right off the bat, we've got cabbage, and I rinsed it and it just splashed me. Our kohlrabi, and the recipe called for 2 medium carrots, so I picked out 3 decent ones. We're gonna start by, I'm very wet from that now. This is kind of fun because these are different foods, and if you can get to a farmer's market or even the grocery store, lots of them carry more interesting things. I was gonna say international, but these are in fact native to North America. We just don't eat them. I don't know why. People are strange. Kohlrabi. So, cutting it up is a bit of a trick. What we want to do, when you buy your kohlrabi, if it's got stems and leaves and stuff still attached to it, lob those parts off. Just get rid of them. You can keep them if you want and throw them in a soup, but honestly, really, how many things are you keeping for in your soup? So, do that, and then we want to get at least one end of it flat so that we can cut it nicely. So lob off one end just so that you've got a flat spot, right? So that we're not fighting with it. Let's fill a compost bowl. Next thing I want to do is cut it up, and we're going to cut it into quarters, and we're going to go one, like that, and then we'll go the other way. There we go, just like that. And then we're going to cut the core out of each piece, and it's barely there. It's not on that one. There, we've got some there. You can kind of take it out that way, and then you can see it. And you can see where it is there. And just take it off. It's hard to even see because it's basically the same, but it's a little harder is all you're gonna find. There we go. Get rid of all of that. And there, and then we want to peel it. Now you can peel with a peeler if you want to. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna use a knife. I'm gonna bring my compost bowl closer. This is, again, kohlrabi. I've done various things with it, and you know what? My husband likes it, and my boys like it. I'm not a huge fan. It's a little different, but I want you to try it because you never know. Maybe you're gonna love it, right? Like maybe it's gonna be your thing. Who knows? Maybe you've already been enjoying it, but you can grow it in your garden with ease because it's native to North America. Who knew? I'm just gonna get that little piece out of there. There we go. I think, if I'm not wrong, I'm pretty sure kohlrabi grows kind of like the way you would grow Brussels sprouts and that sort of thing, okay? It's in that family of vegetables. You can see how there's a bit of a skin. It's not significant, but you can just kind of see it's a little matte by comparison. So that's how I know where to cut. Honestly, I think the vegetable peeler, we'd probably take less, but it would be a lot of work, I think. So we're not going to do that. Now, before I forget, this is our last November date, and then we're moving into December. So while I'm doing this nonsense, we can chat about that. Matter of fact, I can just leave these two and do the other half off camera. We'll set them right here. They're going to be fine there. That can go in there. In the month of December, I'm thinking of changing things up a little bit and doing some holiday baking on our Saving Time episodes because it's time to start. It's time to fill the freezer up with some goodies for Christmas, and I kind of want to do it. So I think we just should, okay? we've done all of that. Now we're gonna grate it, and we'll just be adding it to our bowl for the slaw. So I'll do these two, and then we'll start the next one, and then we can do the rest off camera. Watch those knuckles. I'll watch mine, you watch yours. It's kind of dancing around a little. So we're just grating it. I'm using the widest spot on my grater where you would normally do cheese. We don't want it to disappear in our salad. We want pieces of it, right? So just, once it gets too small to be safe, it's time to let it go. And I'm gonna call that now. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna save my knuckles. I'll set that one. Actually, I'm gonna grate this one too, because now that it doesn't have the outer peel on it, I don't want it to dry out. You'll find when you do it's quite wet on the inside. And you can probably kind of hear that a little bit. It is wet on the inside. It's slippy. It's a little slippy. So yeah, so some Christmas baking coming up. I'm thinking we can do something the week of the 3rd and the week of the 10th. We can do a little bit of Christmas baking. I'm kind of thinking sticky toffee pudding. You let me know if you think sticky toffee pudding sounds like something you need in your holiday menu. I personally, I love it, and it's, that piece is a little big. It feels a lot like, you know, plum pudding and that sort of thing, but with a lot less pre-work than doing a traditional Christmas pudding, but serves up in a similar way. There, look at how nice that is. It's kind of, it's stuck like crazy to my board, but I'm not gonna worry, everything's going in the same bowl. So that's a good start right there. I'll finish those off camera. Next we'll do our cabbage. So start by taking off any outside leaves that are looking a little pathetic, right? I mean, they get that way, they do. So just take them away and leave them. And then, that's kind of bugging me, you know it is. It's hard for me to get past that. Stand it up so that again, your flat end is on the board. Now you do have to hold on though, but we want to cut it in half this way, so cut it tall. And hold on to it, watch your thumb and finger, and all the way down, like that. Okay, so that you've split it right down the middle, but on the long side. And then we're gonna cut each half again, same direction. We can go this way this time though. We don't have to stand it up anymore. We'll do that. We'll get rid of this piece. Nobody wants to eat that. And that. And then when we get ready to chop this up, we want to get rid of the core. So you can see it there in that corner and just cut it right out of there. Okay? It's gone. I can see a little bit more hanging around. Sometimes if you just lob off the very bottom, then that goes. I'm going to get rid of that one. And then all we're going to do is to shred the cabbage. I just want you to cut it up. So start this way and just in thin slices, keep cutting. Okay, just keep cutting. And if you see a lot of core on any one piece, just take it out. And like that, nobody wants that. And just take them out, and then you can go again, and you can just like that, okay? You don't have to work really hard at it, you're just shredding it. And again, any pieces that are just core, just toss them in there. They're not really core anymore, they're just crunchier bits. And get rid of that one and that one. There, any that are just too big and thick. Chop them up, get them out. Okay, just keep it going like that. If you wanted to, some people definitely prefer to do the cabbage on the vegetable grater. I find it easier just to cut it up. And then what you'll do is throw it. Those pieces are super long, go the other way. Some cabbages are shorter than others. just suit yourself on how you do it. You've got to think it's a salad, so people aren't going to use a fork and a knife to eat it, right? So you have to imagine how that's going to go in, and then you can see how that's going to blend together. And again, anytime you find big pieces of pork, just get rid of them now before they go in. Not all of those are hard. You can tell the difference. If they're really crunchy, again, think about fork and knife. If it seems like somebody's going to have to cut it to eat it, probably don't want it in there. And clean that up. And then you do the same thing with the other pieces. And I'll finish that up off camera. The last ingredient for our salad, I'm just going to clean up my knife. You can take that all the way down like that. Last ingredient for the salad is the carrots. Not the last, close to the last. We also have some nice red onion for it. Give the carrots a peel to take that outside edge. I gave them a quick rinse. I didn't give them a scrub because I knew I was going to peel them. So, I mean, we don't have to go crazy. I'm going to leave that end because it's something to hold on to. And there, and then we're going to grate that too. So, and I know normally we cut that end off, but right now it's going to let me get more carrot because it's going to act as a little extra grip in the end. So grate up your carrot. Watch those fingers. I'm telling myself to watch those fingers, the grater. Grater's the thing that gets me, and in it will go. And you can see this is becoming quite colorful. So now we've got that, and we will continue the same way with the other 2 carrots. I took out 3 because one looked a little small, and I thought, oh, I'll tuck it in. Why not? Now the last ingredient for our salad is half a red onion. So again, we're going to get some good color. At the very end, I'm going to scrape my cutting board right into that bowl because that's all delicious things. And take the ends off, as always, so that we can get at it. And look at that, that comes off nice. Sometimes the outer edge on the onion will not come off or anything. Have you ever found that? And you're like, it's all stuck to you and everything? And then you're just getting all upset. And actually, it's happening right now. I jinxed it. Cut it in half. We'll wrap half and put in the fridge for some future recipe. And now we can take that off. Sometimes I find when it doesn't come off in its entirety, that if you cut it in half, you can get a hold of it. Get rid of that center. And all we want here, I think it just is asking us for thin slices. So, thin slices it is. And I might cut those in half. They look pretty big. But just cut it up, and we only want the half, so that's pretty easy. And then there. That one's too thick because I'm worrying about my fingers. I'm going to dice it up smaller. There. I think I don't think I want slices in there. I think I want to dice it all. I don't think anybody wants a slice of onion. I think we want to dice it. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm throwing caution to the wind. I'm going off the charts with the recipe there. And you know what? Recipes are guides. I'm going blind from the onion right now, just in case. If it seems like I am. If it looks like the cutting has become dangerous, it's because it has. Okay. Now we can scrape our onion into there, and that's all the onion we're going to need. That's the full stalk of onion. So that's going to go like that. And as I said, I'm going to finish these veggies off camera. We'll come right back and fix the dressing. Holy cow, like look at that. That's a lot. So I had a much smaller bowl. Get the big bowl out. Big bowl salad. Now, we did a power bowl with the Food and Farming Alliance a few weeks ago. This is a big bowl, okay? Not power bowl, big bowl. What we need for our dressing, it's really simple little dressing. We need about 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. And if you don't have any mayonnaise hanging around, but you do have some sour cream, I would have no problem switching them out. So you should also feel free to switch them out or do a little bit of each. I often mix mayonnaise and sour cream when I'm making a salad dressing. We need about a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. And again, if you don't have apple cider vinegar, you could put in even a spoon of lemon juice would work. You need something that's just going to give it a little bit of bite. So don't go out and buy a bottle of apple cider vinegar for the sake of your salad dressing. Don't do that. That's craziness. If you've got it, use it, and otherwise lemon juice or I can try it. I'll think of something else for you. You could even just put a little regular vinegar. What about a teaspoon of salt? Don't be shy. We need salt for our veggies, okay? So there's the salt. And we want, I think they're calling for, I'm trying to follow the recipe, I'm trying to be that kind of person, a tablespoon of sugar. And if I could get this canister open, we'd be all over that. It's in there? Oh my word. There's probably a trick here somewhere. This says to open full tab, but that's not it anymore. There, I'm getting there. This is reminiscent of the days of the oven. Now I can't get into the sugar bowl. Okay, there, oh my gosh, right? Whew, that was exciting. So about a tablespoon. That's a good tablespoon right there. That was a lot of work for that tablespoon of sugar, holy mackerel. You know what I know? This is sealed up nice and tight and there's no air getting into the sugar bowl. Okay, now give the parts a little stir. And I can smell that cider vinegar. I'm just making sure I got everything I did. Okay, let's give it a little mix around. And then that's all the dressing we need. These things will go back in the fridge in a few minutes. I got out my spatula because sometimes for dressing a salad, I like to use a spatula. You suit yourself. Maybe you've got a favorite spoon, like a nice big wooden spoon or something that you like. But I do like a spatula. Don't waste any. That's noisy. We can just do that. Get that in there and that. And I might just give this a little scrape too because, you know, I gotta tell you, I'm a fan of dressing and I tend on my own to overdress salads. Okay, so I'm following the recipe on this one. I'm not going to do what my instinct is, and I do tend to overdress. By now we know I'm a fattest flavor kind of girl, and of course I want more mayonnaise. It is my favorite condiment. Mayonnaise on French fries, right? Who else loves that? That is my favorite thing. It's not very popular, though I think it's gaining in popularity. I'm a bit of a trendsetter, no doubt. Okay, so this is coming in nice, and you're just pushing it around to make sure it all gets coated. We're not looking to make it soppy wet, we're just coating it. And it looks pretty good. I think that looks nice. This is a huge salad. Huge. Wow. There's a lot of coleslaw in that bowl. There we go, and I'm just going to clean that up. We'll cover it with some cellophane. If you've got a bowl with a lid, please use that instead. Save yourself the cellophane, okay? Or if you use a bowl that's more like this size, sometimes a dinner plate will fit on top of it and act as a lid really conveniently. I'm going to cover this up. I'm going to clean up a little bit. We're going to come back and get our rice and butter chicken. Okay, we're back in business. Off camera, I went ahead, I grated some fresh ginger. I just a little tiny nub of the ginger. Recipe calls for about a teaspoon. Minced up 3 cloves of garlic, and I've chopped up an onion really well. Right off the bat, we're going to start the rice. That's going to be the longest cooking time. So we need about 30 minutes to cook rice. So I've got water here. I've got 3 cups of water in the pot. And I'm just going to get that to come up to a boil. I'm going to get a little bit of salt in there for us. And that'll be, I don't know, that's about a teaspoon and a half probably. There we go. So we've got some salt in. We're going to bring it up to a boil and then add the rice. Recipe calls for 2 to 3 chicken breasts. It says about 1.5 pounds. I picked up this package. It had 2 at a fair price. That's how I decided. You know how many people you're feeding, so go with that, okay? If you know you've got people who are going to want a lot of chicken, add more chicken. We need to dice the chicken. Now I'm just going to check here, cut into 1/2-inch pieces. I can move our look at the compost this week. I love these food club kits for the compost because you know I'm excited about how that's coming back as more food. So it just keeps on giving like that. So we'll just grab our chicken. I gave it a rinse. And 1/2-inch pieces, so start by cutting one way and then go back the other way is what I usually do. And then you're less likely to get your fingers involved. And we don't need them involved. We need them. So and then we'll just cut it. I mean, it said 1/2-inch pieces, just, you know, you want them all about the same size. This is a relatively fast cook, so that's part of the reason we're chopping it up the way we are. That one's pretty thick, so I'm just going to do that. And there. Now, you might have noticed I've got all these great cutting boards that are different colors, and I'll tell you what, each color is for a different thing so that you don't get cross-contamination. In a kitchen like this, that's the best way to go, is the colored cutting boards, because then everybody knows what color is for what item. At home, I have the same cutting boards, but I put a piece of tape on the one that I use for cutting meat, and then I don't do my veggies on it. And so, yeah, I don't know if you do something like that already or not, but it might be something to consider. It's really, I mean, it's for your own safety, right? It's hard to clean them. And another thing, a handy tip, I got this one from my sister a couple of years ago. If you have white cutting boards like this, they get stained. You cut up some squash or some carrots or peppers even, and they start to get pretty stained. I'm just going to make sure that's boiling yet. Just a few bubbles on the bottom. We can finish this. And so they start to get stained. On a nice bright sunny day, set it outside. The sun is UV rays, and it bleaches your cutting board back, gets rid of the stains. So there's a good one to have in your back pocket for refreshing your cutting boards. Just set them outside and let the sun do what it does best. Right there. And I mean, it's taking the stains out of the white one, but setting anything out, even your dish strainer and stuff like that. I mean, you think the UV rays are, in this case, your friend. So often we're hiding from them. Pay attention for those days in the summer. Remember those? Already they seem a long ways away. Pay attention to the UV index, and when it's high, choose it as a day to set things out, brighten them up. Put all your whites on the clothesline, things like that. And almost done here. I just want them to each be about the same size so they cook evenly. This actually looks like a fair bit of chicken when it's all cut up like this. And then our water will soon be at a boil there, and then, oh look, that's a big piece there. It wasn't fully cut, was the problem. There we go. And one last cut here. And then this will go in a few minutes, but right now, it's better if it comes to room temperature anyway. So, just there, done. Now, I need to wash my hands before I continue with anything else. Oh, I bumped my hand. I don't know if you saw that. Did you see that? It hurt. Ouch. It's nice that we're live all the time, right? We get these moments. That's fantastic. Okay, there we go. That's not a great spot. Shannon is cracking up laughing, which is not making her seem like a kind person right now. There we go. Okay. Now, that is just coming to a boil. The rice. So the rice has come from a farm in Thunder Bay, I think we read somewhere. And so that's pretty exciting. Shannon's hometown, for the record. And they've got about a cup of rice in here. A cup of rice is going to be It's not going to be a huge serving if you're going 4 people. So you need to decide for yourself if you think that cup of rice, I mean, it's going to cook up to more obviously, but still, just have in mind that how many people you're feeding and go with that. It's also a very big salad, so you know. Is your family going to fill up on salad, or are they going to be craving carbs? So if they're carb cravers, you might need to top up the rice quantity. I think it's not going to pour into my pot very well from the paper bag. I think it's going to get soggy really fast. So I'm just going to do this. And I can put that in my compost pail. Okay, this is out of oil now, and I have a spoon right here. I'm just going to get this in there, and then I'm going to, there's some wild rice in here, which is kind of nice. We'll stir it in, put the lid on it, turn the heat right down, and let it cook for about 30 minutes. With just a little stir. I'm going to need that. That's why it was out, because I'm going to need it. And there's the lid. Lid on, nice and tight, and turn your heat almost all the way off. You're going to let the pilot be enough. Often at home, what I do is, if I've got the oven on your back burner, and one of your back burners is your outlet, your heat outlet for your oven, and I'll put the rice over that one, and it's just a very low heat that keeps it just barely under heat. That's going about 30 minutes. I'm looking at the time, I'll pay attention. Okay, we can start our sauce. I've got this nice big pan here because I'm feeling like with the chicken and the sauce and everything, it's going to be like it's got nice deep sides on it. So we'll get it here. And we start with, let me check where I am. Got my glasses on tonight so I can read the recipe, right? Of course, it didn't help you see the cupboard. Not one bit. I need a tablespoon of oil and a tablespoon of butter. So let's just get them in our pan. There we go. That was probably a heavy tablespoon. A heavy tablespoon. This is the way I measure things, a heavy tablespoon. And look at this little piece of butter in here. I'm going to call that just the right amount. Perfect. Cleans that up. And we're just going to go medium heat under that. And okay. Medium-high heat, add the oil, butter, onions. And we're going to start the onions once our butter's melted. And then after they've got going for a bit, we'll add our ginger and our garlic. I might just move that garlic right over onto this plate. So they're going to go in at the same time, and then I don't have to be careful when I put the onions in. There's that. And, oh, now my hands really smell like garlic. I'm not sure I'm crazy about that. I'm going to touch my face in a little while and be like, nice. Okay, so we're going to add the onions, then we'll add the chicken, tomato paste, just let it cook, and the spices. Now, spice-wise, we have, what have we got here? We've got, calls for garam masala. I didn't have that, but I did have 2 curry powders. So I'm going to mix them and call it square. And we also wanted chili powder. Look at this, I'm going to brag a little. My husband made this, right? From the chili peppers that we grew, and then dried them and processed them, and look at the beautiful chili powder, right? I know, I am showing off a bit. Because who wouldn't show off a bit about the homemade chili powder, right? And then we've also got some cumin. So we'll add those spices with the tomato paste and the chicken just until our chicken's cooked. It should be 10-15 minutes to cook the chicken. And then we're going to add yogurt, stir it all together. Rice will be cooked. That's that. Okay, our butter is coming. Just coating the whole bottom, I'm going to go ahead and push the onions in. I got to tell you, fried onions is one of my favorite smells. Fried onions in the kitchen. You know how they say for selling your house and things like that, they talk about cooking apple pie or things with cinnamon in them and all that kind of stuff. For me, it's all about the fried onions. Honestly, love that. So it's going to make me really hungry. Like frying these up right now, I'm already getting excited about them. That's just going to take a few minutes to get going. We'll say like 2 or 3 will give it a head start. You don't want the garlic and ginger to go in on very high heat, or I don't want them to get brown and shriveled and just disappear on us, okay? So we're going to let the onions almost get cooked before we add them. In the recipe, it says 4 tablespoons of tomato paste, which would be about half of that, and 1 cup of plain yogurt. It goes on to say if your family is a fan of sauce, to use all of the tomato paste and double the yogurt, and that is what I'm going to do. I think people like the sauce. I think the sauce is the ticket. So that's what I want. That's done. That's done. Those are no good to us anymore. Get them out of our sight. They are no good to us. And I think that we're pretty much on target here. This is coming together. It's been a lot of chopping and all that, but it's also not been a lot of time, just a lot of work, I guess. Those are almost good enough as far as I'm concerned. If you've got help in the kitchen, then this would go faster. And in fact, I don't mind telling you that off camera Shannon helped me with chopping up the kohlrabi and the cabbage and grating the carrots and all of that. And I hope that at home, if you do these food kits, that you're also getting some good help in the kitchen. I'm going to just add these, and then we're going to go, it says like 30 seconds so it doesn't burn, and then we're going to add the chicken and the tomato paste. So we'll just scoop it in. Give it a little stir around, and then we'll get the chicken in there. I kind of feel like I want a little bit more oil in there before I add the chicken. It looks a little dry to me. I don't want to have everything sticking. I don't need the hassle. Neither do you. We don't need the hassle. It's nice. I'm using olive oil. You know I'm going to tell you use whatever you've got. Okay, don't torment yourselves. There's that. And now the chicken. And I'm just going to push it in with the knife so that I don't have to wash my hands up again. There we go. That can go there. And we'll just push it around a little bit. Okay, that's looking good. It smells really nice. The onions, I love the smell. Next up is our tomato paste. And I've got this beautiful cast iron pan going again. I'm wondering how I managed without it for so long. Barely. We barely managed. And I want to scoop it all out. Whatever kind of tomato paste you have is going to do the trick. Doesn't need to be a particular brand or anything. I would be careful though. Sometimes when you buy them, some of them are seasoned and they have like Italian seasoning or something like that in them. Just get plain tomato paste for this, okay? Don't go for the ones that have got stuff in them because it's not going to work well with what we're about to add. Okay. Here we go. Mix it through, and now we'll start in with our spices. So let's see. So garam masala, we wanted a tablespoon, and I'm going to mix my 2 curries for that. So I've got my red curry, and I'm going to say there's about a teaspoon of red curry there. And I'm just gonna go ahead and empty that one out. I like cleaning things up. Great satisfaction right there. And now we'll top it up. So I thought there was about a teaspoon there, so I need about 2 teaspoons of this one. There we go. And then we want a teaspoon of this beautiful chili powder. There we go. And a teaspoon of cumin. And there's the cumin. And there we go. Look at that. That's all good. And we're just going to let this cook for 10 to 15 minutes. You can see our chicken cooking in there. It's kind of weird. It's only because we're thinking about it too much and looking through a camera. Just keep blending it so that everything is together, and you want to really mix those seasonings in so that they're all through. I'm going to turn the heat down pretty low because it's not super wet there. So I'm just going to, I've got it at about, I'd say medium heat barely. We started at medium high, medium now. And just push it around. You're not really doing anything except pushing it around to get the chicken to cook evenly. That's going to take a few minutes. It's going to be about 10 minutes. We can go off camera. I'll clean some things up. We'll come back and finish it off. I was a little worried that it was looking too dry in the pan, and I was afraid it could get just thick and disappear on me. So I added about maybe half a cup of water to the pot just to keep it moist in here and to give it something to cook in. Just wanted to fess up for you. Okay, I'll see you again in a minute. So the chicken is cooked in here, so I'm not worried about that anymore. And it's been about 15 minutes, I'd say. I'm now going to add 2 cups of yogurt. So don't forget, because we did the double sauce. So I'm calling that a third. So 2/3. That's a little more than a cup, probably a cup and a quarter. I'm not too concerned. And we'll just go one more. And now, we just want to, we're going to stir this through. Be careful, depending on the sides of the pan that you're working with. It looks pretty when we're stirring this through like this. Now, in the recipe, it does plainly say to use plain yogurt, not Greek yogurt. Okay, I know everybody's got a thing about Greek yogurt and we love it and it's delicious. But in this case, it specifically says don't use Greek yogurt. So just your plain yogurt and stir it through, and then we're just going to let it very barely simmer. We're just warming it through. We added the cold yogurt, we needed to warm through. So don't let it boil, it's not necessary. And let it go maybe 5 to 10 minutes. And by that time our rice is going to be done. By my clock, I've got about 5 to 7 minutes left on my rice. Okay, so I'll see you then. We've made. Holy cow. So, right off the bat, I'm going to plate some up for us. And we'll get some rice. And I'm just making a small plate. That can go there. I'm going to stick that back on so it stays warm for me. I will be feeding this meal forward, so I don't want to put a lot on here because I don't want it to get all soupy, because then I'm not going to be able to feed it forward as well. So now a nice scoop. Look at how pretty this is. And it smells really nice. It smells really nice. You're going to love it. I know it. You should try this, okay? Try it on the weekend when you've got time to mess around in the kitchen. I'm going to go right on top like that. Yum. Obviously, I'm making this small. Like I say, I just don't want to waste it, and I want to package these things separately for sending them to the family. And here, I don't need to use that one. We've got this beautiful cabbage salad. It's very colorful. Look, it looks really nice. And I'm just going to put a scoop on here like that. And we have beautiful butter chicken, kohlrabi and cabbage coleslaw, carrots, red onion in there, We used a lot of nice food in this recipe this week. Headwaters Food and Farming Alliance not only provides us with a demonstration kit, they give me 4 extra kits to pass around to families that we know will appreciate a kit like this to explore something new in the kitchen and have some fun together cooking it up. And I hope they have fun together, because it's a lot by yourself, but with help, it's just good fun. And feeding this forward next week, looking forward to doing some Christmas baking with you. I will also point out some good sales that are happening locally so that you still get to find a good deal in the grocery stores thanks to my careful research of the flyers. But we're gonna bake something. This, because I added the water, I was thinking while I was doing it, if you have a bottle of passata on hand already, instead of using the tomato paste, you could just use the passata and its strained tomatoes. It's a little thinner, and then you would be able to get that consistency the same. Rice looks great, a little bit of wild rice in there. A plain white rice will do the trick for you. You're going to know. You've got a lot of salad, you might want more rice, you decide. This looks beautiful. Make sure that if you're enjoying these videos, you like, subscribe to the Westminster Orangeville channel so that and hit the little bell so that you're notified when new videos come up. Looking forward to seeing you next week already. And take good care, enjoy yourself, quit letting food eat up all your time and money.